guys, welcome back. It's Fred Garcia with the Kane Luxury Team, powered by Keller Williams. Again, today we have my friend Robert Curtis from Wintrust Mortgage.
Hey everyone. Hey, thanks for having me here, Freddie.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. And today we're going to be talking about important things to go over by the end of the year. What things homeowners, sellers, buyers, and just everyone should look into as the end of the year comes to an end, and trying to figure out how to start the next year on a good foot.
Yeah.
So,
it's great.
You know, every year I sit with my wife and we break out all of our expenses because sometimes we just don't know where the money goes.
Sure.
And I'm sure you can talk. You can talk about that.
Yes, yes,
because you know, we have I'm sure every family has these recurring expenses that happen in the background, whether that's a Netflix account, HBO Max account, gym accounts that never get used.
Yep.
So there's all these accounts that happen that if you're not checking in the boxes at the end of the year, you won't know that that money's just being blown away.
Right.
And it just disappears.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Talk to me, Robert.
Well, you know, the reoccurring expenses is a big one for my family because I have two kids, and it just seems like I see reoccurring Apple charges will come on there a lot. I don't know what's a subscription. I don't know what's a one-time event. So, you know, one of the things is really understanding and getting your arms around the expenses that come through on a monthly basis. Reoccurring is important because, you know, really understanding what you're subscribed to, and as a result of that, what's coming through every month. So one of the things I like to do is, and I will have my clients do this quite a bit, is typically people will all operate out of one checking account, debit cards, and you know the money comes in and out through one account. What I like to do, and I do this personally, is pull up the most recent 3 bank statements from that account.
Okay.
And you know, December's a great time to do it because you can pull up at the end of December, November, and October. And what I like to do is come up with about 7 categories. And those categories might range from restaurants, shopping, online purchases, might be utilities, things that are going to happen in the house on a regular basis. Once you identify 7 or 8 categories, put everything and just go through and mark off, and you could print up your statements and just mark everything, whether it's a shopping, online purchase, restaurant, gas, things like that.
Right.
And then what I like to do is you could do it in Excel or you could do it on paper. And then once you have everything outlined on 3 months worth of statements, then you just categorize the dollar amounts. And at the end of the day, the goal here is for you to see in the last 90-day period how much went to shopping, how much went to online purchases, how much was reoccurring. Typically, it's very eye-opening for families, Freddie, because you realize that you're spending more on online shopping than you are maybe on a mortgage payment.
Right.
You know, so it really helps you kind of set things up for success for the next year. But the budget, I think, is really important, and just understanding where your money goes.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, I can definitely comprehend because, you know, my family, we love to go out to dinner.
Yeah, right.
And we're a family of 5. And every time we go out, I mean, it's easily 2 plus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you have to add the tips. So like the money just goes. And if you're not sitting down and saying, okay, like how many times a week are we going out to eat? Because the other recurring charges are so small that they are important, but they're probably not as important.
Sure.
You know, whether that's someone having subscriptions to different items, but you know, the dinners, you know, you do that 4 times, 3 times a week.
That's right.
At $200 a pop.
Yeah.
4 times a month.
I mean, for $200, you could take a great cooking class.
And I told my wife, I gotta take a cooking class.
So maybe you convert that into a date night and do it once a week.
There you go. That's
cooking class,
fantastic.
and you're saving money on both sides.
And then I gotta be the cook, right?
And then you're the cook. That's all right.
Another thing that my wife and I we like to sit down and do is we like to check our credit at the end of the year. Sometimes things happen throughout the year and you don't become aware of it until you check what is hitting your name on that credit.
Right. That's right.
Sometimes there's fraud. Sometimes you think you paid a doctor bill, it didn't get paid, they didn't send you the information to the right address, and now it's in collections.
Exactly.
There's so many items that if you're not checking it, and then one day you decide to purchase something, it's a red flag.
That's right.
It's a stop, fix it, we can move forward.
You
Talk
said
to
it
me.
perfect. Yeah. So really, it's about understanding what your usage is. A lot of people have accounts that they may not even be aware of. Old dormant accounts that they haven't used that they're surprised that are still open. So it's really this conversation is a great conversation, Freddie, because it's all about creating an awareness, and that's really why we're here, is just to create a financial awareness to keep an eye out for. Credit's a huge one. Understanding what credit cards are outstanding, understanding what the balances are, also understanding what the available credit is, because like we talked about in our last podcast, the balance versus the available credit, once that crosses over 30%, 50%, they call it a usage rate.
Right.
Once it crosses over that and you start getting into 70, 80%, your balance is 70 or 80% of the available,
Right.
that's when the credit starts coming
To go down.
That's right. So a lot of times you can get strategic with that, and you can either pay down your debt, or you can reach out to the credit card company to raise your limit to increase that percentage to put you in a better spot financially
And what better time of the year to do it than during
during this time. That's
this time, because they want you to go out and spend money,
Correct.
right?
That's right.
So like
That's
you
right.
call and say, hey, can I get an increase on the credit limit? And they're probably more than happy to.
That's
to
right.
raise
And,
it.
and you'll notice if that is as a result of that, if your usage rate goes down to 30% or under, now all of a sudden we start seeing a lift in credit scores.
So when we're talking credit cards, and you have a credit card or cards that are dormant, should you consider closing those cards, or should we keep them open if there's no annual fee?
Yeah. So, usually what I like to do is that, if you have 3 credit cards or 3 to 4 different accounts that are getting reported on a regular basis, that you're paying the bills on time, that's really what you need to kind of lift credit scores. As far as dormant accounts, I don't always recommend that to clients, only because that might be an emergency fund.
I see.
They may want to have that in case the car breaks down, kids get
Gotcha.
sick, etc. So there's nothing wrong with having a credit card just off to the side with a
Right.
zero balance in case you need it.
It doesn't really affect the credit.
It
in
really,
any way.
yeah, you should be fine with that. Yeah.
Excellent. It's always interesting to decide, if you at this point in someone's career, maybe you have a lot of credit cards and you're trying to determine, like, do I want to pay that recurring yearly charge? But the credit cards give you these carrots, like, hey, you can go and get the fast pass to the airport, so that you
Right.
can
Oh,
keep the car, and then
Right.
it's an exchange.
Yep.
You get the hotel credits,
Frequent flyer
frequent-
miles,
So
they
there's
tie 'em all
all
together.
sometimes the $150 or $100 fee that you might pay, you're gonna get it back 2 times, 3 times over if you use the card to
Yeah.
do these items. So sometimes
exactly
it's
right.
probably worth it
Yeah.
to keep it. And you had one more item that you thought was interesting to do.
So a lot of folks out there will have a 401k, and so a lot of times employers will provide, they'll match, and so basically sometimes it's 50% of every dollar you put in, they're matching. So all of a sudden you're getting a return on your investment of 25 or 50% without any sort of fluctuation in the market, just by moving that money into that account. So I think also, and you want to check as far as your age and what the limits are with the 401k, because it is based on age. If you're over a senior, I think there's a lift as far as what you can contribute. But right out of the gate, it's good to look at, are you able to cut spending per the budget conversation we just had,
Right.
so you can increase your 401k by $100 a month or $200 a month, because now you're cutting spending.
Right.
So being able to incorporate these 3 things and working together,
They all play a
they're
part.
very synergistic, and all of a sudden you see lift in a 401k and savings, and now you're making more money at the end of the year. What's
Right.
going in the account?
That's a fantastic how they all
Right?
like
Connect the dots.
they all connect, right?
Yeah,
and
they
at
really
the end,
do.
you just want to get it all to the
Exactly, exactly. So I think it's important that you combine the budgeting to see if there's $100 a month or $50 a month that you can cut. Call your cable company, see if you can get rid of HBO. That's going to bring in another $90 a month. You can then in turn raise your 401k. It's $1,100, ends up being around $10,000 or $1,000 or $1,100 a year. 30 years, it's going to be a ridiculous number. So all by not having HBO or Showtime.
Right.
So I think that also you want to look at your 401k and see where you're invested in. Are you allocated correctly? Most 401k companies will have a person there that you just reach out, call the company, you speak with a professional there. They're going to go over your age, your risk tolerance, where you're at. They're going to look at your overall picture, and help you determine whether you have the right balance and mix in your 401k.
Is there a fee associated with that?
There might be, it depends on the 401k company. The ones that I've always traditionally worked with, they don't have a fee, and that's just a service that they provide, but you just want to call and reach out to the professional at the 401k company.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, this has been fantastic to get this information for our viewers at the end of the year, and at least they can make a decision on which way to go and how to best utilize their finances
Sure.
to propel forward into financial freedom.
It's all about 2023.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll be back with more.
Thanks.